Hello, everybody. My name is Justin Jones. This is The Mission Continues. And here today I have with me from One Life Coaching, Linda. Me and her met recently in one of our, I call it a powwow amongst, veteran organizations and also, people with disabilities, just a little bit of everything. And just to make a little fun with it, I've always been a big fan of like the show Mom, and I know that they get into life coaching and stuff, but I've heard good things about life coaching my whole life. Granted, even though I'm from small town USA in Tennessee, I've still heard of good things about it, and I was just intrigued because I've never met anyone who's actually did it before. So I was I was intrigued, and I wanted to bring her on and you know, learn more about what she does. I know some people might even be interested in doing live coaching or maybe working for you under your, I mean, it really just goes in so many directions, but I'll let you kind of introduce yourself, if you don't mind, explain what you do, how you got into it, if it's, the ins and outs of it, basically.
You got it, Justin. Thank you. Life coaching for me is something I feel like I've always done. I worked in the legal field most of my life. Had a minor in psychology. My big thing about psychology was just a difference of theories, right? Going backwards or going forwards. So I really put my head down and went back to school and got my certificates through the International Coaching Federation for life coaching, health coaching. I am constantly increasing my education as much as I can, just because I love it so much. It's my passion. So personality assessments, I'm working with recovering addicts through an interventionalist. A big program, which is why you and I met, was I developed a program called Coaches Across America, which is where we coach veterans across the country. To me, I come from a very military background with my family. Everyone from my grandfather, uncle's father, cousins to my nephew, even recently. So everyone's been in the military. I've seen a lot, heard a lot of stories, and it's one of my missions, right? So coaching across the board is about the same, right? But coaching veterans like yourself is just a lot more powerful. The difference that you can make and the impact that you can make on people.
Agreed. And yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I've always been curious about live coaching because like me, I don't like to toot my own horn, but like I feel that in life I could be a follower, but I just feel so much more. I feel like my calling is to lead people because granted, you know, some things like I believe you was in that whole meeting yesterday. Okay, well, nothing happened like that. I'll just put it like this. I'll make it short speak. Nothing happened like that until a certain person who was in that meeting. Since he's gotten there, we never had anything like that happen. So it's just like that person kind of brings a negative vibe to it. But besides that, it's like what really has always made me wonder about, the life coaching is, I got a lot of people that reach out to me. I've, the simplest things, and even these days, without being an actual life coach, I feel like I am because people always ask me for my opinions and stuff because they've seen where I've been and seen where I'm at right now. And I mean, everybody still has their ups and downs, their good days, their bad, but it's if you got the tools, if you got the you gotta build yourself to be strong because for the longest time I wasn't strong. And I've got myself, you already know what I was telling you about as far as what happened with my son yesterday. Most people, I'm more stressed out than anything, but I'm not letting it consume me right now because it is a big thing. I'm just leaving it, I'm just hoping for the like I've always done, hoping for the best, but expect the worst.
Interesting that you say you weren't always a strong person. If you really look back, I think you'd find that you really were always a strong person. Maybe you didn't feel it, but you barreled through a lot more than the average person barrels through. And it's funny, I do coach a lot of people on becoming a coach, which is awesome. Maybe that's something you're interested in. But even as far as really good point, you were talking about yesterday's meeting and some negativity. So when I coach people, I coach them really on, it doesn't matter. You can have 20 negative people around you. It's what you do, right? So always being in control of your own thoughts and your own emotions is huge. And that's nothing more than a new mindset and behavior change, because with coaching, most of it becomes habits, and we break the habits and create new ones.
Agreed. The thing, like, I mean, I've learned this too. I mean, but like who you do surround yourself with, you're more prone and more susceptible, if I'm saying that right, to following that footsteps. Because, you know, I hate using this analogy, but I'm going to use it anyways. And this is because I'm very blunt, outspoken, and that's what you'll learn about me, regardless of how people feel, which I do take people's feelings and things, but at the same time, freedom of speech. To me, it's kind of like the vaccination thing right now. You know, it's this way. Like I'm for, I gladly served my country to give people the right to make choices. And you have a choice. And I know this is going to sound like a weird analogy, but it's almost like herd immunity. If you stick around with people that have negative vibes, negative traits, you're more likely you're going to be a follower. Hence why, like I said, I feel more like a leader, because I know what it feels like to hit rock bottom. And there's people who hit rock bottom worse than I did, and because everybody, I mean, we all hit rock bottom, all in different ways, severities. But it's just simply like, since I made my circle smaller, man, what and it sucks, yes. But at the same time, for the first time in my life, I actually got peace, because yeah, tongue twister. The few people that I have in my life that I keep close to me are people that are constantly wanting to see me do better, and you know, they're always
It's
giving me good
quality,
advice.
quality over quantity.
Yeah, and it's like I'm sitting here, and you know, I don't hardly ask advice, but if I need advice, I'm going to ask for it. And even if it's something simple, like one of my buddies, it was about a week and a half ago. It was on a Sunday, and I was just in one of my moods because I'm going through a divorce, and I moved past it. It's just, you know, it finally hit me that, you know, we're getting ready to do the lawyer, and this is the first time. Now I got my son pretty much full time. She only gets him from Friday night to Sunday night. So it's really starting to hit me that it's like, you know, and I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mind taking care of my son. Now, if she wanted to give him to me 7 days a week, I love it. I love my little boy. I want to spend every day with him if I can. But it kind of hit me hard. I'm not gonna lie. It bugged me, because you know, that was almost a decade I put in, and you know, a lot, like she didn't jump to a boyfriend, like she didn't take, you know, no time after that happened. But it's so be it. You know, let her be happy, or whatever she wants to call it. But like, I don't understand if with that situation, I feel like I'm doing a therapy session now, but why?
It's okay.
And I have my suspicions on why she does what she does, because I know her backstory and her growing up. But it's just a simple fact that it's just like, you know, we don't talk a lot, and not really a lot at all. But when we do, like, the one thing is she's always telling me, Justin, go find your girlfriend. When it's time, it's time. And I'm not just rushing into that. You're talking, I sit there and put blood, sweat, and tears, which you don't know the backstory about our relationship. And I'm pretty sure once you heard it, I won't do it on the show. But you would understand, I busted my butt.
You gave your all.
I gave everything I could and then some, but in the end, just wasn't good enough. And I mean, we both messed up, plain and simple. There's no one person,
Takes two. Takes
I
two to
take
get
my
where it
full
got. Yeah.
responsibility. So, but yeah, it's just that I think I ain't gonna lie, I'm intrigued on the live coaching, and now
So here's a
hell,
couple tips just on what you said. Acceptance is huge, and there's a whole acceptance process, right? There's also letting go and forgiveness for yourself and her. And never try to figure out the whys because you won't get them, right?
yeah,
So focusing more on yourself now moving forward and being that best version of you, learning from any mistakes you may have made because we all make them, and just
oh
letting
yeah,
that make you a better person. So I tell people at the end of the day, ask yourself, what did your day look like? What did you do that you could have done differently? And what would you have done that you didn't do? Like those three questions are huge.
oh yeah. Um, I ain't gonna lie, I am kind of intrigued because I mean, I like. Also, I think you might have heard this yesterday later on in the meeting, but like with everything that's going on, the 222 that's getting ready to happen for mine and a few others, veteran organizations come together to form a coalition. But we're getting ready to do our first annual on the 22nd of February, which
Super
today
exciting.
is today's February, everybody. It's crazy. Now this is our short month. My mom's birthday's on the last day this year. God rest her soul. That was a great woman, and I tell you one thing: I don't know if she's ever a life coach, but man, she would have made one heck of one. But getting back to what we were talking about, uh, I'm not gonna lie, I'm intrigued just simply about being a life coach because after going through what I went through, um, I measure my success not by dollars. I measure my success on the lives I change. And if I could literally just get by on what the VA gives me for the rest of my life, and if I saved more lives than I made money, that to me, I can go to my grave knowing that I taught my son, how to remain humble. And even if I did get, financially stable is what I call it. I would never measure my success by the dollar amount. It'd be about the lives I saved or the lives I changed because, for the longest time, society kind of makes, I mean, this is just my personal opinion. Society makes you feel like if you don't got money or status, you're not nothing.
Mm.
And I was going to run for county mayor around here where I'm from, but guess what? Because if you don't got money or status, you're pretty much screwed. The blue collared American can't sit there and do something that, and I honestly think our blue collared Americans veterans would have a better chance of running this country than
So what do you have to lose by trying?
right now. I got too many things going on with the nonprofit and the documentary and
Yeah.
docuseries. I don't want to
But think about
overload
it.
myself. That's one thing I have in the past. I've learned that I used to be a workaholic bad. Like one thing after another. And with, the documentary and docuseries, I mean, you
Mhm.
could take time if you need to break because you got to have creative juices flowing. Everybody knows that. But it's just that I found in my life, like I am the type of person, I'm not a control freak, but I don't like feeling like I'm out of control. And if I feel like I'm losing control, I don't like it. So I try to not put myself in the predicament not to feel like I'm losing control. So if I
So
were to
there's a
sit there and
difference between losing control and getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I think if you cross that line a little bit, you'd probably be okay and you might just trudge through it pretty well.
but yeah, like if you grew up around the town I am and know the stuff that I know and people's like, oh, he's gonna try to go on a conspiracy
Okay.
thing. You gotta understand I've lived in this area on and off pretty big from like my third grade year which I lived in Tennessee for a long time. Born in Chicago, lived there till I was a year old. I don't claim Chicago. I'm a country boy. You can hear it in my voice. Technically I'm a mutt. My mom was from the mountains and hills of Tennessee and Kentucky. My dad was a Chicago boy, so technically I'm a mutt. But I follow more in the Southern heritage, minus the the stereotypical racist. I'm white, but I'm not racist. We all bleed red. That's what I believe in. I don't judge anybody by the color. I judge them by this right here. But like, yeah.
I think you'd make a great coach, Justin.
It's just that I don't know. I just look at stuff differently, and
What's awesome is if you coached veterans, right? Because you've been there, you've seen it, you've experienced it, you can relate to it. One of the biggest things about being a coach is life experiences, right? It's what makes people good coaches.
Well,
hitting rock bottom makes you stronger.
The only thing that worries me is like I grew up in a military family. We did the ancestry. It goes back to the American Revolution, our family history. Awesome. But like me, my brother, which me and you'll talk about that one time, because like I said, if I told you my story, you're gonna be speechless. It's like a Jerry Springer show. I'll just put it like that. Yeah, it's that bad. But it's just like, for example, one of the things I worry about the most, because I am not a combat vet. My PTSD stems from something that happened overseas, or not overseas, over Fort Riley, well, outside Fort Riley, Kansas, a little town inside of a town, which is not really a town. It's a little section they call Aggieville in Manhattan, Kansas. One of our friends was stabbed and killed by another soldier that was a friend of ours as well.
Wow.
So, yeah, not something you expect from your own teammate. And for years, I was actually reluctant to trust my brothers and sisters to a certain extent. But, I mean, of course, a lot of the ones that I've already known, I didn't know. My buddy Ortiz, I knew better, but her I've only known for so long. But anyway, so I believe you've answered the question how you got into it. So what my question is what is, if you had to pick one thing that you could accomplish with your mission, what you're doing, what is the overall, like for you personally, not as One Life Coaching, but I want to hear it from Linda, you get what I'm saying?
Changing as many lives as I can and helping people turn their challenges and their obstacles into purpose or strength.
I like that. You definitely got some wise words. I'll give you that.
It's definitely, it becomes a passion more than it's a job, right? When you see the difference you can make in other people.
That's something I actually brought up to somebody. I was like, it's not a job if you love what you do.
It's not. 100%.
And I was talking to Buddy earlier because one of my buddies I actually told you I talked to last Sunday, his name's Michael. And I went over there and we was just talking about things, and I brought up the podcast today and stuff. And it's just weird how like we can change how we were able to change so much, because this dude used to be a bad guy, like jail, all that stuff. And it just, and he didn't have, the stuff that we have today, like the life coaching and stuff. And it's just miraculous how much times have changed where we're actually able to sit there and have life coaches to be able to sit there and give their time. And, because some people just want somebody to talk to, man. That's
huge. Yeah.
It's a big thing. And,
I do get clients like that aren't really looking for anything in particular other than an ear, right? An ear to talk to. But so here's my big thing, like with your friend, right? I always say this: you can't change the beginning of your story. Doesn't matter how old you are or where you are, you can change the end.
Yep. And like I mean, because like some recently I noticed on, and I'm not particularly big on watching news, but of course everybody's on social media. That's how I'm able to promote everything. But I seen recently that, you know, Miss USA, a former Miss USA,
Yeah.
and like that right there, even though she's not a military, but it still bugs me because people do, like the numbers of suicides have went up since the pandemic started, both in the veteran and in the civilian sector. And you know, like and it goes both ways because, like, you know, girls don't want to be made fun of because they don't want to seem as weak because they're crying or something's bugging them. And I ain't saying that it's not harder for girls, but I feel having that, speaking from a guy's perspective and a veteran's perspective, you know, it took me years to be able to get past that. That I'm pretty much, you know, my give a damn's busted when it comes to my emotions. If I need to cry, if I need to yell, get it out, I'm going to do it. But it's bad that people fear what other people's going to think about them just because we were raised different. Like I was raised, my mom, you know, single mom, you know, I had stepdads. I won't get into that. Like I said, one day me and you'll have a deep conversation. Um, but you know, at one time it was just me and my mom, and like that woman right there was amazing. Like there's no other word. Honestly, it's hard to even. She deserves her own word to explain how much of an impact she was as far as me being the fighter. Because it's honestly, I think it was the fight mentality. Because my mom was diagnosed with cancer in '93 and was told she had 3 years. She lived to 2009 and without chemo. Because she told her, she's like, I'm not losing my hair. But we also wanted our
Wow.
mom, yeah, we wanted our mom to be like, we respected our mom and we want her to be happy. And like the one thing she said is, y'all better not putting me in a nursing home. And she made us promise. And I wouldn't, you know, I would never do that to my mom simply due to the fact that if we can sit there and have them wipe our butts, do all that for years, it's only right. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel
Full
about it.
circle. Yeah.
You know, our parents took care of us 18 years. This is the least we could do. They paid our, you know, rent. They took care of us. This is the least we can do is make sure they go out and peacefully with their family, not in a place
So
locked up
many
banging on
people
the
don't,
window.
yes. So many
I
people
don't
don't
like
see
that.
it that way.
But it's just a beautiful thing that, you know, right now more than ever, people need us, and there's people like you out there. And we honestly, like, if there's one thing I went out of this to do today, honestly, I just want to let people know that you're not alone. You got people like me. I'm not a certified life coach, but I got experience when it comes to traumatic events, and I've been through quite a few in my life. Not to toot my own horn because it's something I don't want to toot it about, but I mean, honestly, that a lot of people ain't alone, and that it almost seemed like it was fate because when, you know, when that thing happened the other day. Hold on a second.
Sure.
Yep, my bad. Never had that happen before.
You're good.
But no, I just got my old. I have a nonprofit phone. Right now I'm doing my stuff off my personal, but I just got my old nonprofit phone back because somebody had stolen it. So I just, like I said, I'm going through a divorce. She gave me the phone that was on the plan. So
A
no,
lot
I
of
got,
cameras on the back of that phone.
yeah, this is the phone that I'm on right now that I'm videoing this is the exact same one, except for this one's silver, that one's black. They're both the 21 Ultras. I'm a big Samsung person. I'm ready for the I like the notes, but I think the S22 they're coming out with is actually going to have the stylus on it, which that right there is a seller for me because I like to be able to pull it out if I got to write something down quick, put it back in, go. But life, I'm not gonna lie, I'm interested in being part of, because I'd love to help out. That truly is my calling, and I'd be honored to do, life coaching and stuff. But if, like I said, if there's one thing I want to get out of today is let people know they're not alone, that you can weather the storm. Because I mean, I've seen people in way worse situations, and like I'll take my hat off for them. Like, I'm just like, and because I mean, what I went through was bad. Homelessness, but I didn't, there's different types of homelessness, families sleeping in vehicles, or you're sleeping on the actual concrete in a box. Like, I never got that low. We was sleeping in a vehicle, sleeping in hotels when we could, you know, and then of course there was the alcohol and prescription meds that were just a whirlwind of stuff, which now I only take one medicine and the rest are all vitamins and stuff because I choose not to use that kind of stuff. I'm a naturalist. Well, I mean, I'm a very open person. I've already did stuff, but I used to be a medical cannabis patient up in Illinois. I do believe that it's better than pharmaceutical because I've seen firsthand after meeting with some vets that had, some pretty, when I say like, I mean, I ain't giving no names. I mean, heroin, but now they're working great job. They got their family. They're living good, and all they use is cannabis. So I'm just like, they even have records of, this is where I OD'd. Like I'm in shock.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm an advocate of it, but I don't try to push it on anybody else. Everybody's going to believe what they want, but look at the science. Science speaks for itself. Granted, I'm not big on those theories, but, cannabis has been around the world for ages. Vaccine hasn't been around for ages. Give it time, then I might trust it. But I'm not going to get on the vaccine thing. I'm a firm believer. And I seen this thing on Facebook the other day about the vaccine. It had two girls pointing at each other, said, she's not vaccinated. And then this one said, she's vaccinated, but we both agree on no mandate. And like, I always try to throw a curveball in these because I like to have fun. So how do you feel about being forced to have to take some? Do you believe it should be like every other thing in the world is our choice? Because like you got the stuff
I think it
going
should
on
be a choice. I do believe it should be a choice. My personal opinion is I'm an anti-vaccinator. I just am not big on vaccines, and especially ones that don't have a lot of science behind them. But I did get the vaccine for this. I felt like it was it would have been selfish not to, just because I have other family members, right? So I did it, but I do feel like I'm a little uncertain about it because there's not enough time behind it.
I mean, there's a lot of pressure with it. I mean, I'm a firm believer, and this is probably the country boy in me, but I'm a firm believer. If it's my time to go, whether it's the COVID, car wreck, we got a date. We got a predetermined date. God's going to keep us around until it's his time to let us go. So I don't want to live in fear. I mean, don't get me wrong. I used to take flu shots. I ain't took those in years. I took the antibodies when I got my COVID because I met the criteria. I was just overweight, but, being something new, I wanted to be safe, and it wasn't the RNAs. It was antibodies. So, of course, yes, give me the antibodies. But like I applaud, like I'm a firm believer that I agree, and people have the right to protest as long as they keep it peaceful. I'm all for that. Yeah, I've did peaceful protests before. We've had some messed up crap happen around here, particularly to one of my friends. It was I'm not gonna. It was similar to the George Floyd thing, but this was done inside a jail, and there's video of it. But I won't go any further than that. But I lost a friend of mine I grew up with, and the cops that were involved should be jailed, but the family, they did their thing. It's not my choice to make. But anyways, I applaud people that do peaceful protesting. Like, I love what's going on in Canada. I love that the people are peacefully doing something about it. They're not causing harm. They're not doing anything. They're standing their ground. And like, it comes to bring up like the Capitol Hill thing.
Mhm.
Americans can be crazy sometimes. And if you give the right Americans the tools, they'll be stupid. Like protesting at the Capitol, yes. Breaking into the Capitol, that took it too far. Now, if they would have got up to the doors and protested, to me, that seems fair. They're not breaking up. They're protesting the right. But once you broke through the doors, because trust me, eventually they got to have to leave. And then if you surround a building without getting rowdy and crazy and just yelling, eventually they're going to get annoyed because, that's a lot of people. But that, like, I just can't stand the fact that, people are trying to be forced. And I guess I don't know if I'm anti-vaxxer or not, because like my son had all his shots. I had all my shots growing up as a kid. But other than that, like
Yeah, same. But anything new, I'm hesitant. My daughter was young when they came out with Gardasil. Just didn't have enough years behind it, so I opted out.
I didn't.
So optional vaccines, I tend to be a little bit more.
Ours was just the standard like MMR and all that, just the standard stuff. Now, if they would have tried to give them something I ain't never heard of, I'm like, no. Because if the one thing I could say about a parent, and it's funny because my son's mother would always, anytime we'd have a meeting, she'd always look and, right at the end of this, like either one of y'all had questions, she'd do this, look at me, because she knows I'm the one who asks a lot of questions because that's just how I am. The military turned me into wanting to know every detail, and I'm a very detailed person. So it's kind of like, I'm kind of OCD, but I'm not. It's weird how to explain it. But no, any things coming up that you're going to be doing, or like what's going on in your world? Because we're going to be cutting the show here. I just go with it. I'll let you talk, and I don't really have a timetable for it. But are there any events going on or any big things going on for you?
I don't. I'm starting my new year. A lot of coaches have a niche, right, that they stick to. I don't. I have many. I want to help as many people as I can. I'm starting to do some addiction recovery coaching, some webinars, which are just fun, right? Non-stressful, a lot of relationships. Really want to help the veterans. So I coach in many areas, and I really don't put any limit on it. Writing a few more books this year might be on my list.
Oh, wow. I ain't gonna lie, I might have to talk to you about that too, because I know it sounds weird, but it would be awesome to put out my own book, because I'm telling you.
I thought about that when you were talking before.
Because honestly, if I were to dig deep and really tell the story of how up my life was, people would truly understand that life is not, you're not in a bad situation as you think you are. A lot more people are, like, because if I'm going to write a book, I'm like, because there's still stuff I keep caged up that people don't know about. But if I'm going to write a book, I'm going to open every door, and I'm going to
open the gates.
Yeah, I'm just going to open the gate and let people see firsthand the life of, I don't even know what I would call it, because like it's a mix of, the military. Once I went into the military,
it's probably going to be something about the floodgates opening.
Yeah. But so
I would love to help you with it.
Oh, that would be awesome, because I'm telling you, I'm telling you, if you read my book, you'd call me and be like, My hat's off to you. But it really depends on everybody's thoughts on it, because like there are people that had it worse as far as like, I was never beaten by my mama. Stepdad's different, but she was not around when that was happening. But like, there's just so many different things. But there's people that had way worse, like they were beat, they were raped. I mean, but I just wanted people to see how fucked up of a life I'm. And sometimes I'm going to cuss on this because it's hard not to be when I'm ill. That's just people's like, we're professionals, but you ain't never been around a veteran or a soldier after hours. We are professional, but dadgummit, we're human too.
Mhm.
But yeah, I do appreciate you coming on today.
Of course.
Any
course,
last
happy
words
to.
before we
No,
let
I
you
mean,
go?
if anyone from your show wants to talk, right, I'm going to offer a free session to anyone that calls me through you. So let them know that. I'll give you my contact. You have my contact information, right? My website is the same as you see on there, except you add a number 4 and a letter U. So it's onelifecoaching4you.com. You can go on there anytime. My phone number, 732-509-6747. Anyone that contacts me through your show, of course, will get a free session. Any veterans who are interested, there is no charge for veterans. So through the coaching program that we have. So, and as far as you go, I would love to talk to you more about writing a book. I'd love to talk to you more about coaching and you becoming a coach. So of course, we'll be in touch too.
Always. I will reach out to you sometime this week, I promise. I try to get it done within 24 hours, but if I don't, I give you my word, it'll be before the end of the week, and I'm a man of my word.
You got it.
You take care. Thank you once again for coming on. This is
Thank you,
Linda with
Justin.
One Life Coaching. I'm Justin Jones with The Mission Continues. Y'all have a great day. Be safe, and God bless.
There's a template that you have on one page. If we just send that to Trina and Roger,